Another LARP story with Tawney. Okay, so, another story that we have, well, actually, I'll tell a series of small stories. That our last one is, like, stuff that didn't merit a full story, but that makes for a good series of smaller stories, right? So, while I was away for the 2 months that I was away, before this game, because I couldn't make it to the other games, apparently Adeline had been imprisoned at some point for 10 days. Adeline is a high elf friend of Tawney's, and she'd been in prison for 10 days for, like, slander, basically. And by 10 days, we mean, like, you know, non-game time days, where she stayed imprisoned, or whatever, on, like, a forum thread. When she ran into Tawney, and Tawney said something about her friend, her friend Thelonious becoming a Dragon Knight, which was awesome, by the way. Side note, cool, Dragon Knight, prestige class for Thelonious. Adeline seemed really upset, and Tawney didn't know why. So, Tawney goes like, "Why aren't you happy for him? You know?" She goes like, "Well, he imprisoned me for 10 days. You know, like, what happened to you in the Fey Realm? That's basically what he did to me." And Tawney got real mad. Tawney was like, "How the fuck dare you compare your 10 days in a prison cell with a bed and a place to pee and food every day to my 3-month imprisonment in the Fey Realm at the hands of the Winter Court, where I stayed in an iron box that I couldn't lie down in, that I couldn't get comfortable in, that I couldn't move in, and they basically just left me there." Mad. Angry. Tawney was like, how the hell dare you make that comparison? And I mean, I apologized to her later. Tawney was like, "Oh, I got a little mad, I'm sorry." You know, because Tawney's a nice person, but she got mad at that comparison. Yeah. Oh, here's one. So we're working on a cure. There's a bunch of people who got bitten by werewolves in the past, like, whatever, couple of games, and we're trying to cure that lycanthropy by working with this wild elf group called the Nightshade. And the Nightshade are Tawney's friends. Tawney's like the main liaison with the Nightshade wild elves. And I'm hoping that I can get an alchemical cure for lycanthropy from them, because we've started to make that. So that's good. Cool. Figured that out. They weren't as friendly as I'd hoped they'd be, but what can I say? I want to, like, talk to their elders or whatever. What else have I got? Murloc Joe, I see you. I see you there. Thanks for the raid. Or the host. Yeah. Trying to think of what else I can tell you. So there's one character that Tawney ended up draining blood from a lot, and her name is Miss E2, played by our lovely friend Kristen, who made, like, this mask, for example, which is pretty good. And so forth. Our friend Kristen, who played Miss E2, a hobbling chef. Hobblings are like halflings in our setting. A hobbling chef that kind of became Tawney's go-to blood-sucking person, to the point where Miss E2 was asking Tawney if she was hungry. You know what I mean? Like, the kind of thing where it's like, "Do you need blood, Tawney?" It's like, "Yeah, I do. I'm gonna drink some now." Okay. So, not even a full vampire yet, and already people are offering. It's nice. It's helpful. And I think when it comes to miscellaneous stories, that's kind of the end of it. There wasn't a whole lot of sort of extra stuff going on. I had a lot of good times, like, role-playing with the people at the Church of Celeste, where I was staying. And the person who runs that place, Cassile, is, like, the best, nicest person, and just, like, Tawney, one of Tawney's bestest friends, so to speak. I threw lots of gas globes and paralyzed things and blinded them and whatever. There's a lot of spell slinging going on. I mean, I use alchemy, but spell effects. Because I had lots of holdover from the last couple of months that, like, I had a stockpile of things. Yeah, I think that's kind of it, really. It was a really good game. It was a super, super cool game, and I'm glad I got to go out as Tawney again. What this has done, though, is it's made me reconsider my plan to visit Xenostrand with Aaron in October, and maybe just go as Tawney again. Because this whole, like, nascent vampirism thing, I want to see where that goes. And I'll probably ask a shaper if it's, you know, if there might be progress and if it's what character I should bring and so forth. Like, I'm interested in seeing how that progresses. Anyway, back to Blood Bowl. Hey,